Revenge films.
My name is Nick Anderson. After graduating from university, I wanted to learn the French language, so I used the working holiday system. I worked day and night in the kitchen at a hotel in Paris and took French language classes. Since I worked in the kitchen, I received free meals, so I didn't have to buy food every single time. There are also many other foreign students from different parts of the world who use the working holiday system. Most of us had tight budgets, so we helped each other in our own small ways. There were many untouched leftovers, so I brought back some food home. I shared that food with a beggar. His name is Anton. Here you go, Anton. I got you some fish and chips that you mentioned before. That's your favorite.
Oh, Nick. Thank you for always giving me food. I'm sorry I don't have anything to give back to you.
It's fine, don't worry about it. I came all the way from the US, but I'm surrounded by my foreign classmates every day at school, so I can't learn French at all. On the other hand, you're a native speaker of the French language, and you talk to me in French with the right accent, so I think of it as like a tuition fee for teaching me your language. You're my teacher, Anton.
Ha 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 ha! If my French is fine with you, then I'll teach you as much as you want. But why do you want to learn French that much? You even came all the way to France to learn the language. Is French really necessary for you to learn?
Yeah, I want to work in the fashion industry, so learning French is a must, especially dealing with French clients. There are many French people who can speak English, but many French people prefer using their native language when doing business, especially in the fashion industry.
Fashion industry? You want to be a designer or something?
Not necessarily a designer, but I do like fashion and I like French culture. I've always wanted to work for a French company when I get back to the US.
I see. Don't they teach language courses in America?
I took some French classes when I was in university, but only the basics were covered. In my home country, everyone will be impressed if I can speak French fluently. Plus, it'll definitely increase the possibility of me getting into my dream job. By being able to speak French fluently, I'll be treated like a VIP.
Really? So does that mean I'll be treated like a VIP if I go to America?
Well, first and foremost, you need to learn to speak English.
Haha, you're right.
Anton used to work for a financial company, but lost everything. He was in his early 40s back then. He told me everything about what happened before he lost everything, but there were many advanced vocabularies used that was too different for me to understand. What I understood from the limited vocabulary I had, though, is that he lost his job because of the biggest post-war recession. That greatly affected the French economy. Because of the sudden declaration of termination, he lost everything all at once, from his wife to his daughter to his house. The reason why he was separated from his wife and daughter was not because they had a huge fight or anything like that. He said that he still loves them very much. Then one day, a farewell party for my fellow American friend was held. We drank a lot like there was no tomorrow. With staggering, tottering steps, I went back to the hotel. That's when it happened. Out of nowhere came two burly-looking middle-aged men. Before I knew it, there was a huge blow, a quick low kick, and a strong punch to my stomach that set a gut-wrenching pain throughout my body. Panting and wheezing, I tried to make sense of what was happening before everything turned black and I became unconscious. I don't have any memory of what happened after that, but I was told later on that evening, from my clothes to my belongings, were stripped off from me and I was dumped into a shady back street. 4 of my teeth got broken as well as my nose. My ribs were cracked, my leg was stabbed, and all my fingers were broken. The police told me that I might have been tortured, trying to get me to say my card details. However, the perpetrator was not caught. It wasn't even half a year of being in France, but there's no way I'd be able to understand their fast French since I was drunk. Because I didn't answer to any of their questions, that's probably why they took all that they could take from me. Perhaps because I was too drunk or fainted that I wasn't able to really feel extreme pain. I don't even have any memories of what happened after I fainted. That's why I don't feel traumatized by the incident. Of course, when I woke up, I felt a very strong pain, but if I experienced being robbed and beat to pieces like that when I was sober, I would probably end up being mentally ill. After that, with the severity of my injuries, I was told that I would need to stay for a whole month at the hospital. But thankfully, I was able to get discharged from the hospital after 3 weeks. I bought insurance before studying abroad, but I never thought that such a terrible thing would happen to me, so I limited it to only $75,000. I was told by the insurance company that my injuries would reach the maximum limit within a month of hospitalization. That's why I decided to leave the hospital and return to my home country to receive treatment there. even though I was not fully healed yet. I should be more careful when traveling to a different country, because unexpected happenings like this could ruin my savings or worse, take my life. I said farewell to my close friends, including Anton. I didn't tell Anton the reason why I was injured, but on the last day, we went to a burger restaurant and ate a sumptuous meal together. I was thinking of paying for the meal, but I was surprised when Anton paid for it, saying it was a farewell gift. I don't know what happened during the time I was hospitalized, but he told me he started working part-time and saved some money.
Nick, you're a good person, so I'm sure things will get better for you from here. Bonne chance!
I will never forget those words he uttered before we said our farewells. I continue my treatment in the US, and after being completely healed, I continue to study French using different methods. Then, 8 years later, when 3 years have passed since I joined a company in the fashion industry, I was assigned on a project together with my senior at work. It was a project held in Paris, so we went to France for a business trip. This contract was so critical that I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said that it would make a difference in the fate of the company. I had been working for the company for 3 years and was just getting used to it, but I was still a novice at the job. But I spoke better French than my coworkers, so I was chosen to go along with my senior at work. I can tell that he was just as nervous as I was, because he was very silent throughout the flight. But deep inside, I was secretly wishing to see Anton again after all these years. However, my hopes went down when I went to his usual spot and didn't find him there. The next day, my senior at work and I went to meet our client. When I met with the person in charge there, we both thought, huh? Trying to recognize each other's faces. Looking at our reactions, Mr. Smith asked,
Could it be that you know each other? Nick, you studied French here in Paris before, right?
Mr. Smith asked me, so asked the president. Do you happen to be Anton? That's when tears started flowing down Anton's cheeks.
Ooh la la!
Out of surprise, Anton repeatedly said that.
Nick! I wanted to see you! I can't believe you're standing right in front of me!
Crying tears of joy, he hugged me and said,
When I saw you helpless at the hospital that day, you were the only person who treated me like an equal. You even called me a teacher, even when I was in that state. No one else treated me like you did, even after you left. When you left France and went back to the US, I was all alone again. I thought that I shouldn't keep depending on others, and realized that I'm the only one who can change my life. That's why I worked very hard these past years, and I have finally made it up here.
Looking at Anton and me in tears, my seniors were confused as to what was happening. Anton didn't say anything at the time, but he was actually the one who put me into a taxi and brought me to the hospital, thinking it was a matter of life and death situation. He thought of the fastest possible way to bring me to the hospital. There was a taxi nearby, so he thought it would be faster than calling an ambulance. As for the payment for the taxi fare, Anton explained the situation to the taxi driver and said that he'll pay later. So he searched for an immediate job, worked part-time while I was hospitalized, and paid the taxi driver. Hearing the truth, my heart was filled with gratitude. And before I knew it, I was hugging Anton and telling him, Je t'aime! It wasn't a business meeting anymore. After that, Anton invited me to his house. I was warmly welcomed by his wife and daughter. Over some wine, Anton and I filled each other in about these past years. The reason why he divorced his wife and daughter was to get them out of the hell of debt. He cut off contact with them to avoid causing them any trouble. After that, Anton was in despair and became self-abandonment. That's how he ended up homeless. But after meeting me and realizing that he could still be useful to someone despite his state, he got his motivation back and started working part-time. Saved some money, applied for a full-time job, continued to work hard after getting the job, and this is where he is now. Once the foundation of his life were in place, he contacted his wife and daughter, and they started living together again.
The reason I can live happily with my family now is all thanks to you, Nick. You saved my life, my wife, and my daughter. I'm truly grateful to you.
After that, we successfully concluded the negotiations, as one would think. I mentioned earlier that work and private life should be separate, but Anton gave us a pretty huge contract, so my efforts were recognized by my boss, and I got promoted. After that, I was assigned to be in charge of the business transaction with Anton's company. So every time I go on a business trip to Paris, Anton and I meet. By the way, Anton's daughter in university is very pretty. So I jokingly told Anton, Anton, would you give me your daughter's hand in marriage? To my surprise, he replied with,
I was planning never to say yes to any man for my daughter, but since it's you who asked, Nick, I am more than happy to say yes.
He then gave me his daughter's contact number. Now, every time he introduces me to someone, he says,
This is my son-in-law. I'm very proud of him.
I haven't really met my real father, and I've never seen pictures of him, so I don't know what he looks like. That's why I think of Anton as like my own father.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.